Each year, millions of Americans experience tinnitus, often to a debilitating degree, making it one of the most common health conditions in the country.
Tinnitus is a ringing in the ears. It's an experience that people have inside their head that doesn't have a corresponding external sound in the world. So in a sense, it's a hallucination. So you hear something that others don't hear. There's no physical sound in the world causing it. Your brain generates it. Generally, it's considered to be a byproduct of hearing loss in most cases. So your ear is sending less information to the brain, and your brain decides to try to fix that. And it does so by, in the end, resulting in a tinnitus experience. Your brain tries to turn up the volume, basically, to hear sounds that it used to hear, and it no longer hears them, so it tries to fix it for you.
Roughly 20 million people struggle with burdensome chronic tinnitus, while 2 million have extreme and debilitating cases. Oftentimes, many of these people are told there is nothing their doctor or audiologist can do.
I started with tinnitus when I was 12. I had a rather large firecracker go off just inches away from my right ear, and it damaged my hearing, and also instantly gave me ringing in my ears, tinnitus, and I've had it ever since, so I've had it for 54 years. And mine is rather profound in its loudness. So I can hear it over jet noise. I can be in a room with 20,000 people all talking like at a convention, and I can still hear it.
My tinnitus sounds like the refrigerator hum. It's only in my right ear. I also have hearing loss in my right ear. It's due to a genetic disorder called otosclerosis. And over time, my hearing can change and my tinnitus may change.
While there is currently no scientifically validated cure for most types of tinnitus, there are treatment options that can ease the perceived burden of tinnitus, allowing patients to live more comfortable, productive lives.
There are various treatments. Hearing aids is one of them. So when patients come in and have a hearing test and we find that they have hearing loss, the first recommendation, of course, are hearing aids. Majority of patients, including my patients, I'd say a good 80%, find benefit with hearing aids, in whether it's lessening the loudness, changing how the tinnitus sounds to them, and sometimes some of them also experience no tinnitus when they wear their devices. Other options are masking devices, which uses a white noise generator. Some devices you can also change how that noise functions. And so some patients find having an external noise helps them with their tinnitus. And then also for those patients who have a lot of psychological issues with their tinnitus, counseling.
OtoScience Labs, located in Jacksonville, Illinois, is a company focused on finding creative solutions to the problems of hearing loss and tinnitus.
Well, OtoScience Labs is really a unique company in that it focuses almost exclusively on tinnitus right now, but also other hearing type issues. But our mission right now is to focus on developing an objective measurement for tinnitus. This is our most important goal, and if we manage to create an objective measurement of tinnitus, it will be the first truly objective measurement for human tinnitus.
Research on their human tinnitus test is currently funded by the U.S. Department of Defense.
The Department of Defense is interested in tinnitus and hearing loss because it is one of the most common reasons that active duty troops have to be rotated out of action. Hearing damage is really common among active duty military members. And tinnitus, in fact, is the most common service-connected disability in the VA system. So if you're a veteran, you're more likely to be getting a disability benefit through having tinnitus than anything else. This is a surprise to many people. But if you think about the work conditions of a combat soldier, it's remarkably complex, and it targets the ear like you would not believe. The noise, the chemical, the related unpredictable exposures sometimes where you don't have time to protect your ears. It can result in damage that's lifelong. In fact, some of the damage that we see in active duty military members doesn't show up for decades. There are many, many documented cases of World War II and increasingly Vietnam-era veterans showing up to VA centers saying, I have ringing in the ears, and it's just started in the last year or two, and it's much more likely for those vets to experience that. And we know that that can be caused by trauma decades earlier.
Whether it is tinnitus, hearing loss, or a related hearing problem like hyperacusis or presbycusis, OtoScience Labs is driven by developing measurements to help solve these problems and improve the quality of life of millions.
We have been working on trying to solve this problem for the last 10 or 12 years. We've been focusing our energies on trying to understand how to measure this phenomenon, because we really think that once you have a measurement, you have a solution. There are very few companies focused on this. There are very few organizations willing to fund this kind of research. The Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and a few other entities even care about this. And so we think that it's the kind of thing that insurance companies should care about. It's the kind of thing that healthcare providers should care about. It's the kind of thing that parents should care about when they know that 15% of their kids have ringing in the ears. It's the kind of thing that doctors, need to talk to their patients about, start asking questions about. So we're leading this effort. We are going to develop a measure for tinnitus that is objective. Whether it's the exact thing we're working on now or something slightly different in the next year or two, we will not stop until we find a measurement for tinnitus.
For more information, visit www.otosciencelabs.com.